In a breaking update, we are 7 hours into a political, cultural, and legal earthquake in the United States.
The Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade, eliminating the constitutional right to an abortion. People on both sides of this issue are out in force, some outraged, others joyful. A live look outside the Supreme Court. It has been a hotbed of protest all day. Let's go to CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry.
Hey there, good to be with you. Well, earlier today, President Biden called the court's decision a sad day for the court and a sad day for the country, while also calling on Congress to pass meaningful legislation to try to restore some of the things that Roe v. Wade provided. Meanwhile, the implications from this decision will impact tens of millions of women across the country, especially those in several GOP-led states where trigger laws are in effect.
This decision must not stand!
Protesters erupted outside the Supreme Court after the justices ruled to overturn Roe versus Wade.
I kept hoping for the best, but it's clear that these justices don't care about the majority of Americans and their voices.
This is going to be like history. This is just the beginning of, the pro-life generation, being there for women, for the unborn.
Writing for the majority, Justice Samuel Alito said the Constitution does not confer a right to abortion. Chief Justice John Roberts joined the other 5 conservatives in upholding Mississippi's abortion ban, but wrote he would have stopped short of overruling Roe outright.
It's a sad day for the court and for the country.
President Biden called the decision wrong and extreme.
Now, with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
The court's 3 liberals agreed, writing they dissented with sorrow for the many millions of American women who have today lost a fundamental constitutional protection. The court's ruling wasn't a surprise. It had been forecast several weeks ago following a leaked draft indicating which way the justices were leaning. The decision is expected to lead to abortion bans in roughly half the states.
This decision is a victory for the pro-life movement and for the generations of Americans who never gave up hope.
The ruling puts the court at odds with a majority of Americans. CBS News polling found 2/3 wanted the court to leave Roe versus Wade in place, as it has been for nearly half a century. Talked about those trigger laws that will ultimately outlaw abortions in most cases. Well, several abortion providers across the country have either canceled their appointments for today or closed altogether. Meanwhile, happening outside of the Supreme Court today, thousands of people on both sides of this issue continue to pile outside of the High Court after this seismic decision. We're here outside of the Supreme Court. I'm Skylar Henry. Back to you.
Skylar, you mentioned that crowd. We were curious about how big that group has been and what it's changed, what the vibe has been like as the afternoon has gone on. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Sure, let's take it broader, right? More broadly, right? Just in the last 2 days where we had a lot of people on pins and needles sort of waiting for this decision to come out. Now, earlier today, it was about 10 o'clock this morning, we heard a loud cheer from those who are anti-abortion rights. They've been out here all day, and I would say that over the course of the afternoon, there's been a steady stream of pro-abortion rights activists and protesters that have made their way out here. Police presence certainly picked up as well. We've seen officers on bike, also with potential riot gear as well. There's also barricades and fencing surrounding the Supreme Court altogether, but the crowds are getting louder out here as they're reacting to this news.
Skylar Henry in Washington, thanks so much.